This is a small book. I mean that literally. Here it is next to the previous book in the series. When I open them up, I see they have the same font size. My guess is that they shrunk the pages to make this book seem a little larger. If they had stayed with the usual page size, this book would be under 200 pages.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
This book takes place during Christmas of last year, which I believe is book 12. It's hard to tell because Hannah has the new phone she got in book 18. So either her phone time traveled, or there was a 1 year gap somewhere in the last two books. Lisa's husband Herb is Santa Claus in the town play this year. Lisa is hoping she gets the role of Mrs. Claus. The play is A Christmas Carol, and they've already been rehearsing for weeks. I don't know what's weirder, having Santa Claus in A Christmas Carol, or a play doing rehearsals before casting all the roles. Mayor Bascombe steps in at the last minute and gives the role to his latest mistress, Phyllis Bates. This is extra sad for Lisa because Phyllis dated Herb in high school. Lisa doesn't want her husband to be anywhere near Phyllis. Even worse, Herb leaves the house every night and doesn't come back until after 10. Lisa checked and he's not going into work. She doesn't know where he's going. She's worried he has a secret girlfriend. There's an easy solution to Lisa's problems. She can try talking to her husband. I wonder why she never thinks of that. The love drama intensifies during the next play rehearsal. Phyllis puts on the skimpiest, sexiest Santa Claus costume she can find. Instead of doing a stage kiss with Herb, like she's supposed to, Phyllis starts openly making out with him. This'll be one Christmas play the kids will never forget. Even though it's 9 o'clock, Lisa and Hannah go out for burgers. Hannah chats with Bonnie Surma at the bar. Bonnie drinks a lot of beer and dishes gossip about the play. When leaving, Hannah sees red fabric in the snow. She follows it to find Phyllis's dead body. Phyllis died while eating Christmas caramels. The caramels were in Herb's lunch bag, which causes even more love drama, and I don't remember if it was ever resolved. I think we're supposed to guess Phyllis stole Herb's bag at some point. Hannah goes home to her sister Michelle, and they decide to cook a big meal, even though it's after 10 and Hannah just ate a big meal. As usual, they share the meal with Mike, who comes over to interview Hannah about finding the body. Hannah must have had too much food today, because that night she dreams about her dead father. He appears in her room and claims he's the ghost of Christmas past. He's come to help solve the murder mystery. Wow, thanks, Dad. Dad points out the distinct footprints that Bonnie left at her bar stool. Hannah's confused by this. The murderer vision shows Bonnie? Why? Well, obviously it's because Bonnie is the killer. Come on, Hannah. Bonnie, murderer vision? Bonnie's got to be the murderer. Put two and two together. Hannah makes a list of 4 suspects. Lisa, Herb, the mayor, and the mayor's wife. That's the problem with doing a flashback book like this. All 4 of them were at Hannah's wedding in the previous book. We know they weren't arrested for murder last year. They have to be innocent. The investigation is far less interesting when we know ahead of time all the suspects are innocent. The mayor comes to give Lisa the job of Mrs. Claus in the town play. Both Hannah and Lisa ignore this great opportunity to question one of their prime suspects. Instead, Hannah wastes time talking to Norman about watching old movies in his house. Hannah and Lisa spy on the mayor's wife when she tries on new clothes. She does an excessive amount of talking about her actions last night. Her alibi is Danielle Watson from books 1 and 2. Danielle says it's not a perfect alibi. There is an hour when the mayor's wife was alone. Norman gets an alibi for Lisa, while Mike gets an alibi for Herb. Mike says he's got a clever way to search the mayor's car without raising any suspicions. How? I don't know. I don't think the book ever comes back to this point. Since it is a short book, the mandatory cat subplot is limited to one scene, where Moish the cat waves at Hannah through the window. Her father returns as the ghost of Christmas present. He shows her what's going to happen tomorrow, which is technically the future, not the present. Dad says Hannah will identify the culprit after talking to Danielle again. Hannah goes back to Danielle. Danielle starts a long conversation about Bonnie Sutra and her strong motive for killing the victim. Bonnie always thought of Phyllis as the daughter she never had, and she was murderously disappointed over Phyllis's disgraceful behavior. Hannah decides to visit Bonnie by herself, because when has anything bad ever happened when Hannah goes alone to confront a suspected murderer at the end of a book? Bonnie's terribly sick after getting snow in her boots during the murder. She is too drugged out to realize what day it is or what she's saying. So Bonnie easily confesses to the murder. She pulls out a gun and says she'll kill Hannah too, but Hannah escapes by offering to heat up some soup in the kitchen. As I said, Bonnie is too drugged out to know what's happening, so she accepts Hannah's offer. "Oh, soup sounds good to me. I'll kill you later." There's a really tragic ending where Bonnie's husband Gil comes in. He and his wife struggle over the gun, which ends when he shoots her. Hannah's father returns for the last time as the ghost of Christmas future. He shows Hannah what her Christmas presents will be. "Geez, Dad, way to ruin the surprise." He also shows her that Herb was not cheating on Lisa. He was working to get her a new car for Christmas. The end. Post-book follow-up. Call me a sucker, but I like the stuff with Hannah's dad. It was sweet. It was also weird and doesn't fit the series to have actual ghosts, but it was still sweet to see him for the first time. Since this book takes place in the past, it means Hannah is not married to Ross. Isn't it weird that Hannah's big wedding book is immediately followed by a book where she's single? It's almost like the author is trying to backtrack on Hannah's marriage. Unless I'm wrong, this is the first time the culprit is not a character who's new to the book. Bonnie and her husband are fairly minor characters from earlier books. The last time Bonnie appeared was book 14. It's interesting the culprit is a character some readers will recognize. I personally didn't recognize her, but I did recognize her husband's name. Overall, I thought the book was fine. It makes for a short, comfortable read. I wouldn't have released it as a full book. I would have released this as a novella. I also would have played up the "this book takes place in the past" angle a bit more. Besides for Hannah's husband not being around, there's nothing to indicate that this book was set long before the last few ones. I give Hannah Swensen number 20, Christmas Caramel Murder, a 7 out of 10.